Good evening, all. I'm Robert, your host here on the Extreme Movie Show. I'm with RDV. We're bickering backstage because we're going to be bickering about this next film called The Naked Gun. I, of course, am in the Extreme Studios here in the Pinos Palace, just west of Orlando, and he is from the Great Midwest. RDV, I thought this was going to be an interesting movie to discuss because when I saw the trailer for Naked Gun with Liam Neeson, my heart kind of dropped a little bit because I said,
Yeah.
we don't talk necessarily a lot of comedies on this channel, even though we like some old ones like Young Frankenstein and some classics we've talked about. But comedy deserved its own special rant sometime in the future about the different types, what are good examples, how they can be different, what our likes and dislikes are. And I could not only think about Jackie Chan and his lighthearted comedy and goofballness, which, again, you prefer a little bit more than I do, but we know what we're getting. When I watched this Naked Gun reboot, I will say this to get the pause out of the way because I did not like it at all. It's not funny at all. It's a pretty bad movie. I like Leslie Nielsen. He plays the straight guy fine in here. A bit gruff that doesn't need to be, but you need to have a straight guy. You don't have to have a guy that's super talented. I had no problems with Pamela Anderson in her role. The problem with this movie is it's slapstick kind of comedy, which can be humorous. Generally, it's not for me. It's very Three Stooges, like even though I love the Three Stooges. A lot of these jokes I've seen before. There's very few original attempts. The only thing that kind of popped me a little bit and was a letdown to me is once I saw this and just started, drinking heavily, I went, look, there's Stingray. But there's a couple things that I liked what they were trying to do in here. The execution just is not very good. This is a Ted movie. It's not a Naked Gun movie. And I know this movie's doing very well. I've heard a lot of people that I know personally talking about, man, it's great. It's great to have a comedy. Very legitimate points. But it brings up the broader picture to me of, wow, how comedies are kind of dead based on this PC sort of culture, which isn't what we're really talking about tonight. We're talking about this movie. But let me ask you, how familiar are you with like Airplane and the Naked Guns and the Police Squad television show, all done by the same people?
I've watched one episode of Police Squad, and that's as far as I got because I just wasn't into that kind of stuff. Airplane I enjoyed a lot because it was very pushing against the PC standards.
Yes.
Just kind of, but I still think that Blazing Saddles is a way better movie than Police Squad and all of them because
I would agree with you.
Yeah, with everything they pushed, they really pushed the controversy. But still, the humor in this, from what I've seen of a little bit of Police Squad, the first episode, and from Airplane, and to me, it's the same humor, the same stuff, kind of jokes they did back then, just being recycled with a little bit of new stuff.
Definitely a lot of recycling.
The reason this is, and obviously this is different from the original, mainly because they really leaned by Seth MacFarlane back in 2015 wanted to get Liam Neeson on this, because Leslie Nielsen, or not because Leslie Nielsen already passed away by that time, but he wanted to get Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson was known for doing The Taken, all the serious roles. So with this movie, this really leans into making fun of that, where he's overly aggressive, breaking people's arms off, they're popping off. Stuff we've kind of seen with Leslie Nielsen before. Some of the humor, we get the humor jokes in here, get the blowjob scene, but it's actually her just doing the oven. Stuff you saw in the trailer a little bit for. Basically, the main characters in here, which I really liked, was Pamela Anderson did really well. I thought Leslie Nielsen, or not Liam Neeson, did well as Frank Driven, Driven Jr. You had Stingray's character mostly playing the son of his partner for Leslie Nielsen.
The Breathinger guy, George Kennedy.
I'm glad that they left the Obama joke, or not the Obama joke, but the what's it called, O.J. Simpson joke in there. I thought that was gonna be cut.
But here's the thing: young people watching it today, do they even get it?
O.J. Simpson, they know who O.J. Simpson is and why he's not. No one likes him because of everything he did. That was only like 30 years ago. Now, if a young kid's watching this in their 20s, it probably may not know, because look at Professor Pixels is in his 20s. Now he may not remember the whole OJ, but he may have, over the years, it pops up. I remember OJ had a Twitter profile, so he might know roughly who he is. But you know what I mean? All the whole case as far as the murder and all stuff. But like me, I didn't even. I grew up in '85. Born '85, grew up in the '90s. I didn't know he was even a football player until I watched, some of these.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, because
he was a movie star.
You're not a sports guy, though, so you wouldn't know. That's reasonable.
No. So I only know that he murdered his wife, and then he got away with it. Now that's allegedly. You could say that because you could say allegedly, but I believe he did it.
He got away with it. Everybody believes he got away with it.
The gloves don't fit. Well, of course, everything shrinks when it gets wet. No, but overall, like I said, this movie, I think the weakest parts for me in this movie was Stingray being the bumbling gunny in it. But I liked some of the gags I had in here. He kept randomly handing him coffee. He hits the guy on the bicycle at least twice. Mm-hmm. He's driving. Some of the jokes were kind of stupid. The chili dog thing, where he's eating the chili dog and he's the body cam footage and he has to go stop at the bathroom, fires his gun, gets someone out there. And, but see, that's the same type of humor I would have saw with Liam Neeson, though. Oh, sorry, Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, it's interesting because, so like, and let's talk about a few examples of the humor without getting too deep of a dive here. One of the running gags in the Police Squad television show was that whenever he'd go to park, the cars were the big box cars back in the day, right? Yeah. So he'd come around the corner really, really, really fast, and he would always just, slam on the brakes, and he'd always knock over a couple of the trash cans or whatever. So here, I think Seth goes, okay, I'm going to include that joke. So how will I do it? Well, I'll run over bikers. Okay, I get it. I understand it. But like even the coffee thing where that's the running gag, it just, I'm not saying it's horrible, but it wasn't funny. And I get it after 2 or 3 times doing it. That's fine. And
that's your opinion, though. I was laughing every time,
Okay, I'm glad you did. But just, what works and what doesn't. So the question is, why does it work or not? So, they're repeating some stuff over and over again. There's one visual I was going to say at the beginning that, well, let me back up, just do like a meta thing here. In the old show, you would have what I would call 3 jokes going on at a time. You'd have them standing side by side facing each other, and there's the verbal humor, the play on words. Then you would have something going on in the background that like you would be watching that is not related at all to what they're talking about. And then you'd have like some third thing that completely was different, just completely different than all that going on. Sometimes all 3 things worked, sometimes they didn't. Here at most you had 2 things going on. So the level of complexity is not there. But when they go to walk in and you see the coffee thing, right? They walk in and they hit them like, oh, okay, that's kind of cute. They're doing the coffee thing or drinking coffee all the time, throwing it down, smashing it, grabbing those. I get it. But on the door, it says Police Squad. It's in that frosted glass like the old detective style, right? But you notice because they're walking in, it should read backwards when you're reading from left to right. And so one of the words was because they're stacked on top, but one of them wasn't. I'm like, I get that they're putting that background as a visual for you to catch, but I just felt like to the whole joke, recycling the jokes, there was nothing original about it or the execution of it.
And honestly, that's hard to, because you look at the Police Squad. I'm pretty sure was probably recycling old jokes you get from Three Stooges stuff. It just stood out more because at the time you hadn't seen anything like that, a parody like that. As far as I'm not popular, I'd say because in the 80s you had a lot of different, like a lot of those raunchy jokes, but when it came to Police Squad, that was clean.
Yes,
with the airplane, so it made it stood out. This honestly was kept kind of PG-13. This was clean. And you could say it's the same kind of humor joke we got with Austin Powers, Murder in the Tent. And you see the shadow stuff. It looks like someone's having sex stuff. That humor is it's never gonna go away. And either you like the humor or you don't like that humor. It's just one of those categories if people are split upon. I'm not gonna say this is a horrible movie, but I'm not gonna say it's a great movie ever.
Right.
Either. Because honestly, I have tried to watch the Naked Gun movie before, and I just wasn't into it. But I don't think it's a bad movie though. It just wasn't my thing, and that's kind of what you are with this. Is this you're just not into this? You may have seen some of these jokes before, and you're looking for something new,
or just I want maybe some. It can be the same joke, but how you do it's. You feel it when it's going on. So like you mentioned the sex joke, right? So Pamela Anderson goes over his place. They're doing the thing with the turkey baster and all that. That was kind of weird how those two were getting along. So that was cute. But the guy that's like the hitman, the thief, right? And he's got the frosted hair and he's going up and he's got the thermal.
Kevin Durand, who's awesome.
He is. I thought he was great. I thought, okay, this guy's looking serious. And then he's watching and then like he's freaking out. What's that?
He was in The Strain, Dark Angel. He was in Lost. He was a Blob in the X-Men Origins Wolverine. He was in Resident Evil. He was in Legion. He was in the Robin Hood with your boy Russell across the road. Yeah, he was Little John in that. He was Smoking Aces. He was in The Butterfly Effect, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. He was in Wild Hogs, man. I'm looking over his list. Real Steel. This guy's been in a lot of stuff, you know. Yeah. And the one I really liked him in was he played Jason Rudro, Floronic Man, in the Swamp Thing DC show they did. The guy's really good at being a creepy villain, and he has a distinct look. So basically he's introduced in the beginning here because we all see the trailer where we see the girl skipping in, they got the banks being robbed, you got and you're like, little girl, don't go near. And he come in and he rips off the mask and it's basically, it's Frank. It's Liam Neeson. And Liam Neeson starts basically kicking ass, breaking people's bones, and I love how while he's doing this, and you got your Kevin Durand who break into basically the where they have the security deposit boxes, and he basically makes it explode, ducks, and he goes out there and it says plot device.
Yeah, PLOT.
Literally. Yeah. They're not trying to be serious. So I mean, honestly, I would cringe normally at that, but I thought it was hilarious, because it's like, yes, let's do a plot device, let's do this. And that device, and then here's the thing, the device actually does come into play as the plot device. It's not just labeled plot device. They actually use that later on in the movie. Yep. I thought that's clever, keeping it going. But Kevin Durand plays the number 2, or the guy who works for Danny Huston, who's the big Tesla owner. They basically Elon Musk, evil Elon Musk.
Yep.
Now, not trying to get political.
Bill Gates, but I'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, but or Jeff Bezos, whatever It's just, but the whole plot of this movie is that basically, they want to use that plot device, which was created by Beth Davenport, played by Pamela Anderson's her late brother, who was basically murdered. It basically turns up people's rage, turns them into mindless monsters, and they want to reset the whole world, go in this little base, then come out, and the world's will be paradise. They're tired of basically that, and so the whole thing is that Frank Davenport has been like, you're too violent, the whole thing, here is like, so his boss, who is played by CCH Pounder.
You know her if you see her.
Yeah, she's from the Shield.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's also she was she was on there for a while, and then she was also in NCIS New Orleans. She plays the tough beat cop, we see with Eddie Murphy and a lot of it, as far as they're like, oh, you're suspended, you can't
get
do
your
this.
Ass in here.
Yeah. I love that. So they kept that going in here. You can see the love for some of the older movies back in the day. Seth MacFarlane had basically put in some of the script here, even though it was rewritten. He wrote it, and then they wrote a revised draft of this, so it's not completely his. He's got writing credits.
Okay.
But so basically, Frank ends up basically meeting Beth Davenport, and I love this because he talks to her, and he's like, "Oh, first he looks in the window, he sees her, it's hot, babe." He goes in there, it's a mop that has 2 oranges hanging there and stuff. He's like, "What the heck?" That's where you're like, okay, I get it. That's kind of silly, right? Yeah. So then he sees her. She talks to him. She's like, I believe my brother was murdered. What do you mean? He's suicide, obviously. Because they found his electric car down off this cliff. It was in the water upside down. He's like, and I love how Frank says, definitely suicide. And then when they go to remove it, though, I love it.
It's the pickup machine, right?
It's a crane game. You see, you hit the button.
I'm like, okay, so far I'm kind of like 50-50. I'm like, okay, they're doing some stuff here.
Yeah.
It's okay, they've got Stingray. They did the crane thing. They're doing the visual gag with her.
So the girl, so basically he says he's gonna go look into basically this guy. He has Danny Huston. He meets with him and stuff. And you'll notice that he's got the same kind of matchstick that has the Bengal tire on it. Danny says it's like, oh, it's from my private club where men can be men and not to worry about anybody telling them they can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, so he goes to the club and he runs into Pamela Anderson there, and she's like, and he doesn't know who she really is, so he keeps it secret. And so he basically freaks out. He's like, and does the stupid thing. He's like, her name is this, and it's like something, fat guy eating spaghetti. So her
cherry something spaghetti.
It's
really,
something stupid like that.
And he's got lots of voice. He's got the internal monologue that you can hear, the voiceover.
But yes, I love this though. The internal monologue when he first meets Beth though in the office, and then she's leaving, and he's like, first he's like, have a seat. She's like, no, I don't need one. He's like, but then they get an argument. She takes a chair with her and leaves the chair, and she's banging.
I will take a chair. So she takes it and drags out. So That's a perfect example of how I want to differentiate this between any of the original stuff.
Yeah.
I would say primarily the jokes were smart in that they were witty and verbal.
Yes.
I don't think this had nearly enough of, because there is some dialogue that he has that I go, okay, more of this kind of stuff and less of this bullshit Ted stuff is fine. And I will also bring
You
up
must really hate Ted, because
earlier.
I love that movie.
No, here's the point. The movies were fine, but they were rated R. I'm going back to your earlier point where this is more PG-13. They should have amped this up to R and gotten even more vulgar if they're going to go that way, because you know what? That's Seth Meyers' domain. So if you're going to reimagine a Naked Gun in your area of comedy, go balls to wall all the way there. Have more of the monologue. Have more of this kind of stuff. Don't say, well, let me half do Naked Gun, half my comedy, because you're going to fail at both. That's the problem with this movie.
I think it's PG-13. I'm not sure. I didn't look to see what the rating was.
It felt like it to me. And it didn't feel like the Ted TV show, those 1 or 2 seasons that are on Apple or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I liked them. I thought they were pretty good, because why? They're letting him do his vision of it and say what he wants to and how. And I prefer that. But this felt more Ted than Naked Gun.
It just dropped in theaters August 1st. Obviously, so far it's only made $23 million with a budget of $42 million. So we're only like 4 days in. Well, here's the thing. I think it will meet. And
it's got to make $100 million, though, doesn't it? At 42.
Here's the thing, though. A lot of movies bomb, but then they find people that love them regardless.
I'm just talking about finances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So money, whether it bombs at theaters, means nothing to me, because it's hard for a movie to make money and also have to deal with streaming stuff, because people are going to be streaming. Because a lot of people don't even want to go to theaters. And no one wants to, mainly, and that's a whole different subject, you know.
Yeah.
But we don't have the direct DVD market anymore, so there's a lot of that stuff, and it affects movies. But so I don't rate movies based on like, oh, did it make its budget? Oh, then it's a bomb. It sucks. You know, like, I hate that crap, because like there's a lot, like Blade Runner was a movie that bombed, and then that's a cult classic. So
yeah, again, I'm talking just numbers, not the quality, because to your point, different types of humor, right? I knew that people love this movie going in, so when you said 7.1, I went, oh my gosh, it went down, because it was a lot higher than that. I kept hearing like 90%, 85%, something like that.
Yeah. So overall, like the movie, like the plot point going through is like, he wants to basically, he has to get in to check the security cams, but you know, so she decides, Pamela Anderson, and I love this. This kind of, now some might people like cringe it, but this is cringe humor to me anyway. She goes up, she's like, she's distracting Danny Houston's character, and then, well, you see Liam Neeson's gonna go with the guy standing in front of the private side, you know, the guard. He's gonna go talk to him. She gets up on stage and starts doing, scat, you could call it,
I thought this was by far the funniest and most original scene in the entire movie. Not even close. I'm going to give props there to her for doing this and doing
something out of her wheelhouse.
That scene there, that's Naked Gun.
That's out of her wheelhouse. So she does this horribly, and she's like this. And
she starts off, everybody's like leaning forward. They're stopping, they're smoking, they're like,
and she talks to the guys like, she's like, give me some like 4-piece chicken drumstick or something to the black guys playing like the band. Just say something like what it was, but it was like,
we're gonna be in D, guys. I want to boogie woogie, whatever it is. So you're like, hey, she has a secret talent.
So
and
while
she starts off sexy and sultry, and then it turns into where she's just like howling like a dog and barking,
like a dog in heat. And meanwhile, he's basically choking. You see in the back, he's choking a guy out, and then he goes in there. And then he's sneaking, and the floor is squeezed. And he's like, and then it goes again, and then crack, and then you like he come back to the two guys at the security panel, and then you hear him fall, and he does that stupid no, actually that's later on, but he falls down his steps. You see that there's a bunch of steps that go down, and they're like, where is he? And he comes back up, and he basically has fighting. He has a bunch of other guys to fight. He goes, and then he basically goes through like the computer system, and it has like everybody's like video, and it has their name on it. It's like I wonder who this guy is behind him. Talking to Danny Houston. It's like, and he clicks on the name. Oh, that's who he is. And this leads him basically going to this guy's apartment, and he says, here, pick up this. It's a knife, bloody knife. Okay, well, what next? Here, record this. Say I did it. Okay, I did
that was mildly funny too. That was to say, because you go, oh, you're supposed to be a tough guy, right? You're playing against type, but Drebin was a dumbass, so you go, that's exactly what Drebin would do. And you may not know that if you're younger and watching this, but he would just do silly stuff. And you're like, oh my God. And it got worse. So the physical, like bathroom here where they're watching the body cam footage of him like shooting people because he's got the shits from eating all the hot dogs or whatever and coffee.
That seemed like
funny at all. That body humor.
That looked like something Liam or Leslie Nielsen would have done.
Not the way they did it, shooting a gun and scaring people and being like, that's just not.
No, but the humor again, having the shits and then having the quick run into the bathroom and these people get out. And
all the self-loathing talk in there. I'm like, oh, that was so cringy.
Oh yeah, you dirty bitch, you're gonna eat this, and then like guys like fast forward again. It's for later in the day, and they finally get to the footage. Aha! I knew you were at the bank. It's like after like an hour of footage. It was stupid, like I said. But I love this because when he's in the apartment and he picks up the bloody knife after he stepped in, like, he stepped in his goo. You might want to clean this up. It's all blood. And he's got the knife. He goes in and he finds the body in there. He's like, oh no, this is when the monologue. This is when I knew like I was set up. I was framed. He picked. It's like, well, they can't frame me. There's no body. He picks it up, and the ceiling fan's on, and the head it's gone. And here comes the cops, and they're like, freeze. So then he does the backflips, and then out the window.
Yeah, the parkour thing.
Yeah, Eric Breen's in the chat. What's up, Breen?
Yeah.
He said earlier, saying I knew something was up when they cut the runtime down to 114.
I noticed that too. I didn't really bring it up, but I think it's a legitimate point because that is probably the smallest movie ever. I mean, seriously, that's something filmed on $100,000.
So here's my thing: I don't mind if they cut stuff, but give me the unrated cut. Give me all the unrated stuff we had in the 2000s. This is the unrated extended cut, director's cut, the one that you want to see in theaters. Give me that, Hollywood. What happened to that stuff? That went away.
Yeah. Look, I'll say this about the fact that they put a lot of different people in here for cameos and stuff. I thought Cody Rhodes is the bartender. That was decent.
Busta Rhymes as the guy from the bank job.
Not funny.
Well, it was the last time you see him Busta Rhymes. I did not expect that. It was kind of funny to me.
Again, not funny. The whole Batista thing where he does the monologue and then he's like, thank you. I get what they were doing. Not funny.
Batista coming in because he had to take a bathroom break, so then Batista gets attacked by the mob at the end.
Not funny.
And he leaves him there. He's like, yeah. So basically, the whole love scene, let's talk about that.
Yes.
So he gets it on.
You got a little Rocky IV vibes there, didn't
you? He shows up at her place and talking all. And so they start playing the theme from Mannequin, the song from Mannequin, which was like, built nothing lasts forever. It was a starship. That's what I forget what the song was, but I forget what we built the city, but they had another one. We can build this world together. Nothing's gonna stop us now. Yeah. That one. And they're playing the whole entire time, and then they're in there, and she's like, oh, that turkey thing. I want a turkey, and I want to stuff. And he has no idea. She's coming on him sexually, and he's an idiot. He's like, well, I got a turkey down there, but I got a dirty oven. Nobody wants a turkey with a dirty oven. So this you see Kevin Durand watching through binoculars, and he's just I laugh because he's just like he's looking, and then the drapes open, and he's like, what the heck's going on? So then they close the drapes, and he sees like this moment. It's actually her. She's on the trailer. It's her just clean the oven. So yeah, it really is dirty in here. He's like, I told you, and stuff. But then the dog comes up and get the turkey baster.
That was not funny.
Oh my gosh, that was funny.
The dog stuff's not. You can't go there with that. Do something.
Oh, you can.
Dogs.
Oh yeah, curmudgeon.
No. It's having sex with an animal like that's not funny. Now having sex when you're in the Swiss Alps or wherever it is, wherever they went to, with the snowman and a threesome and them holding hands, rubbing us. That's mildly funny.
The dog thing was hilarious because it's taboo and it's wrong on all levels. But it's because the guy was getting grossed out. That's the whole point of the joke of it.
I understand that. Yeah. Not funny.
Oh, maybe not to you.
Exactly. Right. Different types of humor.
I thought
that's not Naked Gun humor, the gross out part.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Yeah, you can call it there's a lot of remakes. You can call it what you want, but they change a lot of stuff. So
right.
Yeah, and that's why you don't like it, because it's not the same as the original. And I get that.
And it's not
funny. But it's a reboot, it's a remake with a totally different person. So it's them trying something new. And it isn't like that. Hollywood's done this many times with movies. The Invasion of the Body Snatchers has been 3 freaking times. Sometimes the reboots are better, sometimes they're worse. And For me, I've never seen the first three.
Original's the best. The second one's pretty good.
All I know is that IMDb gives this a 7.1 so far, and the original's at 7.6. So, humor has changed throughout. It's not this is there's a little bit dirty humor than there was in the original, but even actually take it back. In the third one, there was a whole thing where the girl had a penis. They're making fun of that with Anna Nicole Smith. So this isn't the first time they've done stupid humor like this. You talk about the dog thing was gross, but the girl,
that's sex with an animal.
Yeah, but
that's not.
Him seeing the girl whip out and he thinks it's a penis and he freaks out and runs away.
Different kind of humor.
It's still gross.
I understand. Different kind of humor.
It's the same type of humor to me. It's gross either way.
I get you say that. I disagree completely.
Yeah, it's okay. But yeah, so basically, getting into they're doing this stuff, the turkey baster, and then eventually they go in the Alps, they're going to skiing. And here's the thing I was really disturbed about, because I'm like, if anybody knows Liam Neeson's history with his wife dying on a skiing trip, I was like, oh, they got to go there, and
I didn't think of that.
I was the first thing I thought of was like, they're going to snow the winter thing. He's like, it's been a long time since she died, and his wife and stuff. And I was just like, oh, are they really? I hope they don't. That'd be really dark. But they go there at the lodge and stuff in there, and the music's still playing around the background. They shows them doing like a seance. And see Phil Anderson's doing this. It was funny. So the spell goes out, and they built from behind. They built like Jack Frost, pretty much.
Exactly, Jack Frost. Which we reviewed here on the show.
They did both Jack Frost's movie in this clip here. Because they got Jack Frost, he's happy and they're doing a threesome and stuff. But then they didn't want him to be a part of it. So then he sits out and then he goes evil. And then he starts chasing her through the hallway and stuff. And going outside. And like I said, and they kill him by pushing him into the hot tub. And and then it's like a cock and balls, with the so like I said, it was kind of fun. I thought that was kind of funny. They'd enter some 80 movies or 90 stuff, throwing it in there. But after that, so basically, he ends up getting an argument with her about something, and I forgot what it was. But he's like, "Is that my TiVo device you borrowed? Did you plug it in?"
Buffy rant, yeah,
the whole Buffy thing. It's like, but for a second that was Breen. It's like, this Breen's a big Buffy guy. He's like, did you plug it in? Because I better not lack access to my my Buffy. He's like, he plugs and he turns it on. He's like, what are you doing? Whoosh. Turns it on. Son of a bitch, it's gone. It's deleted. It's just recorded stuff. It's like he's in the cab with the TiVo device,
Mm-hmm. Who rescues him when he gets into the electric car and it's going to drive him off, suffering the same?
Oh my gosh!
The guy got murdered.
So
who saves him? And tell me why that's funny.
I'm trying to remember what it was.
Clippy.
The clip art, from Microsoft
guys.
So basically, Danny Houston locks him in his car as he's driving away in the electric car. It's supposed to self-driving.
Gives him an evil speech.
And I love the whole thing. He's like, we've seen this before.
There was some creative stuff in here because it's the classic stuff of driving down the road. So what does he do? Something smart.
I like it. First, he takes his gun out, starts shooting the thing, and trying to kick the window off. But then we have the people with
Drebin would never figure out though.
So then this is I love this because we get the whole classic thing going back to the 90s comedy stuff.
Yep.
The people with the balloons. He's like, "Oh, get out of the way!" And the balloons come inside, and he's stuck in there.
The car from the front.
Then we get the bees. All the bees in the car.
So what do you do when you have balloons and bees in a car and the front windshield is?
And then there's a guy who's carrying a random front windshield again, and then he hits again, and he's stuck in the car again because the windshield.
That was creative. I will give him that.
But and then he's hitting the buttons, and then he's like, "Hi, I'm Clippy. My puppy's like, open the door." Okay. And he rolls out. Like I said, there's some stupid stuff in here, but here's the thing though. A lot of even 80s stuff humor I've watched stuff is cringe too. It's all, I guess, subjective. I guess it's I didn't really hate the movie. Mm-hmm. I was surprised how well it was fleshed out. The story. I didn't think it was actually being a story. I thought it was just gonna be a bunch of gags and that's it. There actually was a story place. There's a story plot to this. The plot device actually came into play later on because they learn about what the actual device is. As he explains it to you, and then they go to the UFC fight thing,
This is the worst part of the movie. This
Oh my! The UFC, and then they bring Stingray into this, but it was only first after they got he basically has he goes where what's his name, Kevin Durand's gonna go to get his own electric car, and then he gets in the driver, and then he's like, hey, you're not my normal driver. Hey, this is my normal gas. And he doesn't know the way I normally fall asleep, and he passes out in the gas, and he wakes up in the hospital thing, and he's with Frank's there. He's like, it's like, we know we already arrested him, and he's like, the plot's up. And he's like, I didn't tell you anything. He's like, well, you don't want to be the pretty boy, don't you? In the jail, that's what's gonna happen to you. But they're gonna let you go, and you're not gonna be the pretty boy anymore, and they're gonna put you back in. And it just got very complicated from there, this whole switch spiel. But the guy eventually breaks and tells him what the plot is, what's going to happen. They go to the arena thing, and there's these 2 giant balls for New Year's Eve. They're going to drop down. The device is in there. Frank goes up in there. He's climbing in there while Stingray from Cobra Kai is in there, basically his partner. He's had to run this free beer thing, and like a beer thing, and he's trying to talk to him. And then you see Frank on the catwalk, and he hits a guy, and he throws him off. The guy falls. And here people are like, what? It's like, but then Frank calls in the device, falls in there. His pants get caught on the cable as it's lowering. He hits a button, pulls his pants off. He's butt naked. So he's upside down inside these 2 balls. And then he turns around and you can see his penis. Well, it's blurred out for us. Thank God.
Right.
But
now they should have showed it. I make it prosthetic, make it big, make it tiny, make it 3 nuts, do something. Go there. If you're going to go there,
they did
go there.
They did the Jason Bateman thing, describing it with the announcers.
Yeah.
The one guy who was a former fighter was worried about his wife cheating on him. What else kind of random, but anyway, so the commandant stuff. Frank gets out. He finally has a device in his hand. He stands up. He's like, "What?" And then, his pants. He's basically tries to pull his shirt down so we don't see his dick. Gets the device, and then Danny Houston's up in the booth, the box there. They all have basically cotton balls or whatever in their ears. It's supposed to protect them from the device. Device ends up going off once Danny Houston gets the back of it, and he has to basically go chase Danny Houston or Huston, whatever, outside of the arena, fight him, and we even get Danny Houston has these little jetpacks. He's like, "You're not gonna get me. I'm gonna get here," and he flies up and he hits his head on the street light, falls down, and they basically just have a fight, not a drop off fight. This is where we get the Batista coming in as the gag. At the end of this, him and Beth Davenport have a kiss, romantic stuff, and it's kind of, he's pretty much is reinstated. The one thing I really did like though is when he got in trouble with his boss. She called him. He's like, "I want to see him right now," and he shows up in her bedroom.
That was kind of funny, and they have to whisper because that guy's got the sleep mask on.
Yeah, because he's got an early thing tomorrow. He get this promotion. He's gonna be quiet. Don't you wake my husband? And then you see him again sleeping, by a mask at the arena with her. He's like, and I thought that was interesting with that. But overall, I thought it was a good movie. I don't think it was horrible. I guess I said for what a lot of movies come out, this was actually kid friendly, I would say, teenager friendly. This wasn't raunchy like Porky's. This was or Animal House stuff, nothing like that. It didn't need a bunch of nudity and all stuff.
Humor like that.
Yeah. So and if you like Liam Neeson playing, because he always plays the tough guy like this, There's a episode. I forget what show it was. We did one with Warwick Davis and Ricky Gervais. And he tries to do humor that, and he does the same thing. Talks real quiet like it normally does, and he just keeps making it weird and more awkward. I forget what show that is, but I thought he is the perfect choice to get this because originally they're going to get Ed Helm back in 2015 to do this. The guy who was the doctor and what you would call it. No, I don't think it was an Office, was he? I know he was in The Hangover.
Yeah, and Office. He was a big guy in The Office. He was actually in the Vacation remake too.
Yeah, Vacation remake. Yeah, they originally wanted to get him to do that. I was just like, I'm just kind of glad because I thought that he did pretty well for being what we're gonna get. Because honestly, this could have been a whole lot worse. We know what we do in reboots, remakes. Someone's got to insert their political beliefs and all that crap in there, change the whole meaning of the whole entire movie. And I was glad that none of that was in there for me.
Yeah, I think that's a good point you're making, because that's always a fear or concern when we have to be watch this kind of stuff, that it wasn't co-opted by all that stuff that's out there. Look, I'll be blunt, um, and then
Hi,
I'll
Blunt.
take a step back and make a big exactly that's the humor, right? Uh, uh, the movie sucks. It's generally not that funny. There's a few good scenes in here. It drags in a few spots or whatever. I did watch it. I wanted to like it. I'm not mad at it. I think Leslie Nielsen's a good actor. I don't mind him doing it. I will debate the point later that going against type's one thing, but acting tough is not the same thing as playing a straight man in comedy. That's a more different conversation. A comedy can be hard to talk about because it relies on certain things. But I will say this: it's a Seth MacFarlane movie. It's not a Naked Gun movie. So just if you know that going in, and you're somebody that likes the older stuff like me, if you know that going in, that may offend you. I chose not to let the fact that it's a Seth MacFarlane movie offend me. But this is the same thing as watching Ted or the television show Ted or anything else that Seth MacFarlane that I've seen, and I haven't seen everything. So I'm not disappointed. To me, he just got a chance to play in the world of Police Squad and do his humor in it. So that can be disappointing. But it brings up the bigger picture that you and I talked about at the beginning, or at least a little bit offline, and that's this. I don't think it's necessarily hard to do movie, but since nobody has a sense of humor with how things are today, it's hard for it to just say, I just want to go out and have fun. And I think there's an audience for it still. And I was hoping this movie would tap into it. Looking at the numbers, it's hard to say if it's going to be a bomb or just break even,
I want to say one thing. I'm glad we got the better Seth, because this could have been Seth Rogen.
Oh, I agree. You're right. Totally agree. If you like Seth Rogen shtick, more power to you.
Seth Rogen, with the Pineapple Express. Pineapple Express was legitimately good, but everything after that, I kind of didn't care for, because it became repeated. It's the same jokes as you say this, but it's just the humor got worse. Seth MacFarlane has been doing Family Guy since 1999. I didn't realize that was that long.
And doesn't he do with the Orville?
Did the Orville was very popular too.
Yep. See, I didn't really watch either of those.
And I think that's why this is doing really well, because it is Seth MacFarlane. He's the perfect guy to take over this, doing a whole new series if they want to.
I will give the benefit of the doubt and just say I'm disappointed in it. It's not what I wanted it to be. And I wasn't expecting it to be that, because it can't be, because Seth MacFarlane's doing it.
Did you know originally they wanted to have Leslie Nielsen do a fourth film?
Yes.
And it was going to be a TV movie film. They're going to have him training a young replacement.
Yes. And
that got canceled. And I think that was the best call, because that would have been horrendous.
Third was a bit tough, and probably the weakest. But I think what happened is the guy that was involved in it, one of the Zucker brothers, I don't know who, something happened with it. I remember that being kind of a thing in the 90s, because you could still make movies, but if you're true to what you have in your vision and you're consistent with it, people understand, will go see it. But at the same time, this is when Jim Carrey was busting out with a different type of humor. I mean, so I'm just saying, I like slapstick. I sometimes like Juvenile or this or that, but a lot of times it just depends. And this is a movie that I thought, for it to be successful, needed to rely more on the witty, verbal kind of humor that you have, or that you're expected. And I thought there were some misses when he did it, but there was a little bit more hits that get glossed over by the Seth MacFarlane type of humor. It's just, Seth, I know you try to appease both audiences. Whenever you do that, that always fails. Stick with your vision. Go 100% Seth MacFarlane. And this would have been a better film to me, but not funny. I hardly laughed at all, I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, apparently it's got 90% of it from the 248 critics reviews are positive on the Rotten Tomatoes right now. Basically, it says, and the consensus from that website says that Liam Neeson's gravitas, proving to be the perfect fit for Frank Draven's deadpan buffoonery. It revives the original trilogy's daffy sense of humor like it never went on the style.
Absolutely 100% false. Not even close.
And I don't know. For those, I mean, Eric Breen has watched it. I know he did. He liked it. He said it, but I think, and you can quote me, Eric, or correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he said it's not as good as original. And to me, it doesn't have to be as good as the original to me, because the original is what it is. And that's, I wouldn't want one that's better than the original, unless the original was bad to begin with. So I think for being a new audience, whole new thing, I thought it did well.
I'm asking myself,
this
and you might know Seth MacFarlane better than I do, so I would look at it and go,
I'm not a huge... I don't hate Seth MacFarlane, but I'm not a huge Seth MacFarlane fan.
But again,
I don't watch Family Guy.
What's he bringing to the table to make this different? He's not.
Well, I can't tell you what was different from the original one because I
I'm
don't
telling
watch
you everything. It's really
if it's original, but it doesn't make it bad though, because I wouldn't want a movie to be.
I agree that it doesn't have to make it bad, but this was bad.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if there were people that are hardcore MacFarlane fans, would explain what they thought worked and didn't work in here. And that's the hard thing talking about humor, right? I might laugh at one scene, you may not.
There was another one he did in the past. I think him and Seth MacFarlane, Liam Neeson did one. It was with the cowboy one. I don't think I ever watched that one either.
Which
I don't
one?
want that. There was a one. It was about they're cowboys, and there was like a spy movie or something. It was. Let me look it up real quickly. Was it West? Wild West or something?
The Wild Wild West?
Not that one, no.
Oh, okay. Don't get me started on that.
Not
I'm
no.
mad at that.
Seth MacFarlane movies. Somebody else in the chat might know what I'm talking about. It came out like 5 or 6 years ago. Maybe a lot longer than that. But overall, I thought it was a decent movie for what it was.
Well, here's the thing: when you have a comedy,
Million Ways to Die in the West.
Okay, I did not see that.
That also featured Liam Neeson as Clinch Leatherwood, Charlie Theron, Seafried, whatever we call it. Neil Patrick Harris, and that one did pretty well. Ewan McGregor is in there. Sarah Silverman. Yeah, that was back in 2014. That one actually was it rated R? Look, it was rated R.
Yeah.
Where this one is, I think it's but.
Well, like I said, there's different types of humors, and going back to the 80s, 90s.
PG-13, yeah.
I'll just simply say that going against stereotypes of talking about things, whether it's racially, sexually, economically, culturally around the world, politically, those things were kind of funny. Now, some people were more serious about like a George Carlin, and that was their sarcastic humor. And then there was some of the physical kind of comedy that existed. I do like the fact that if you watch the original Naked Guns, they're a little lighthearted in that sense, because like to your point, anybody could watch them. But just like the young boy and the girl dressed on the plane with what they say going back and forth about how they like their men, how they like their coffee black, straight. You would never see that in movies. Everybody would act like they're offended, like they're doing over Sydney Sweeney and Gene. And I would still argue, as popular that it might be, it's probably just a short-term blip, because I mean the original one was even better with Brooke Shields being like 14 years old and doing it and talking while doing it. That's not a knock on Sydney. I think those are ads I go, it's not that hard to do that. You just got to tap into what works, and everybody's afraid to do what works. I think Seth played it very safe in here. I'm very disappointed in that. I want to have a movie to go have fun and laugh at. This was not that movie.
Yeah. The opening scene was very Naked Gun-like, but not much of the movie afterwards. And
I would agree with that.
Honestly, like I said, I don't think I mean, you could call it something else, but I kind of felt like it, for me personally, what I've seen of the movies, reading up on them stuff, it felt like it was an attempt to do the humor, but then they decided, we're gonna just kind of like still do something else, be more change it, because otherwise Seth MacFarlane is just doing the same movie, and you could because I don't want to, you know what I mean? You don't want to do the same movie and be the same style humor and everything.
But that's what he did.
But he
that's
didn't.
What I'm saying. It's a Seth MacFarlane movie. Absolutely. This is not a Naked Gun movie.
No.
And knowing that, that's okay, right? If you know before, go in there, laugh, have fun. Some stuff you're gonna laugh at, some of it you may not. There was some.
This is a reboot, and they're changing the thing. So it's not, and I think they did it on purpose, honestly, because they wanted to make it separate from Leslie Nielsen, because they don't want Liam Neeson being exactly like Leslie Nielsen.
Well, you can't. That's the problem.
Yeah, and they knew that, so that's why they changed. Probably
this would have been better if it wasn't the Naked Gun at all, and just somebody like me that's older and seen it all, watched, said, "Oh, this was kind of Naked Gun like when they did this or that." Because
here's the problem. Here's the problem. If they didn't call it Naked Gun and they did the movie like it was, basically people would be calling this, "Oh, it's a horrible ripoff of the Naked Gun. It sucks."
But then you could have went more R-rated, put your own spin on it, said, hey, it's a Seth MacFarlane's interpretation of Naked Gun. You wouldn't have the older audience that would be insulted by his weak take on it, right?
I don't think they'll ever do a remake of Airplane because Airplane was very kind of racist jokes in there a little bit. Especially the pilot, scene, and like,
Billy, have you ever seen naked grown men?
Yeah, Billy seen a grown man naked? That would never be in there. No. But here, I'm glad you brought that up though, because the whole scene where they're all taking turns punching the nun.
Yep.
They did that here too, where he's basically people are lining up, he's punching them as they're coming in. Next. When he's fighting in the one room.
Yeah, and the whole thing climbing up to the Fergie-licious and all that. It did not work.
The Fergie-licious, I thought that was...
Yeah, I don't mind the picking something out and being goofy. I don't mind that. Yeah. I like that. It just didn't work for me. I mean, Buffy, I get it. Just didn't work for me. I'm not going, oh God, that's
so this is the guy who directed this is the same guy who directed Hot Rod.
No, I loved Hot Rod.
Hot Rod had some cringe scenes in it too.
I agree. This feels kind of like Samberg humor.
But that feels like it's Andy Samberg
humor. But that's Andy Samberg in a nutshell, right? Yeah. So if you go watch Hot Rod, which I absolutely love, all the guys that are in, the guy that friggin' rewrote the Naked Gemstones or what, Righteous Gemstones, the guy that redid Halloween, that actor that's in all these things, you don't know who the hell he is, and the guy that does all the stuff from Saturday Night Live that does imitations is in there. He's got his posse in there, but it's a small independent film.
You talking about Adam Sandler?
No, in Hot Rod. Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg, yeah, but so as far as
the guy that does the bits of pride, I can't remember the guy's name, but he does
Rhinestone, whatever that was, Gemstones.
Righteous Gemstones.
That was Adam Sandler doing that.
No, it wasn't. It was this guy here, the guy with the mutton chops that plays his son. That's him. That's the writer and actor. I forget his name, but the point is that was Andy Samberg's vision and this type of humor in Hot Rod. So it's his thing. The whole spirit animal thing and falling down exaggeration, you don't know what you're going to get. He was one of the only ones doing that at the time. Frankly, I want more Hot Rod. Hot Rod was a much better movie than this.
Hot Rod also had Danny McBride here itself.
That's the guy, Danny McBride.
Yeah.
Look at his catalog. I mean, he has a certain style.
And a certain style, which is I'd say it's cringe.
There's definitely some cringe with it. But Hot Rod is Adam Sandberg. It's just that Dan McBride's in it.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. PG-13 seems more smart than doing rated R because this means it's available they get more money out of it for more people. It's safe for children to watch stuff.
There's your problem. The word's safe when it comes to comedy.
And I understand that,
Don't be safe.
The 80s was all about rated R. But here's the thing, though. PG-13 has become the new rated R.
Yeah,
the stuff they put in here.
Still no boobs in movies today. All right, I want to ask you, since we're winding up here and all that too. Again, I'm not going to shit on it. It sounds like I did, and I get up. Everybody knows what some of my tastes.
Yeah, quit eating chili dogs, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna go drop a deuce after watching this bullshit. But we got stuff already lined up for Sunday and Tuesday. Why don't you let everybody know what we're going to be doing so they can watch it?
This Sunday, we're going to be doing the Heavenly Kid.
Oh, Heavenly Kid?
Yeah, because somebody had asked about that about 5 months ago. Somebody had asked about that, and I was like, I guess because we reviewed Iron Eagle, so they're asking, do we do another Jason Gunn movie? That was brought up was Heavenly Kid.
Yep.
And I've been looking at that, and I was looking at the guy who was the living guy angel in there was Stuckley in Southern Comfort. He was one of the soldiers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So great movie.
So that got me looking through. And then next Tuesday,
give it to me. Give it to me.
Is Manhunter.
Yes, the original one, and really probably one of the best ones there too. Everyone thinks of Jodie Foster and the whole scene and all that. This is Michael Mann.
This is before Anthony Hopkins.
Mann. Yeah. This is William Peterson, who you're taking a liking to Live and Die in LA and other stuff we've done.
Yeah.
And of course, Brian Cox is the original one, and I think he does a fantastic job. This definitely is a movie worth watching. I think it came out in 86 or 7 and all that too.
Yeah, I think it was 87, I think.
Yeah, like that. And this was Miami Vice was starting to hit it big. Michael Mann, thank you so much for making this original movie. Of course, the whole serial killer stuff. It's good. It's really, really good.
And just looking at if you look at the covers of the movie posters for that movie, you can tell it is freaking Miami Vice.
I'm telling you, man. Man.
So it looked. I remember it was on Hit International or H&I TV, whatever that is channel. It's a cable or basic cable. I think it's basic TV. But I remember seeing a part of it. I was like, "What is this?" I'm like, hey, I'm like, that's not Hannibal Lecter. That's some other guy. It's like, but Hannibal Lecter trying to catch a Tooth Fairy killer. But anyway, though, that is Tuesday. So we got this Sunday at 60 70 no yeah
7 p.m. EST.
7 p.m. EST. We will be reviewing The Heavenly Kid from 1985 with Jason Gedrick. Basically he's a loser, can't get a girl. And he has to rely on an angel who looks like James Dean.
The angel's pulling pussy for him.
Yeah, right.
That's 80s for you.
Yeah, all of us were like, can we get an angel like that too? Make it easy for me. And then we have
called a pimp.
Yeah, Tuesday. We're gonna go over to Manhunter, 1985 or 87, whatever it is, and just talk about that. Kind of want to get more into just some JCVD stuff, or maybe some more into some other 90s movies.
Yeah, I feel 90s.
I'm feeling Stallone, maybe even the first Naked Gun, the original. We'll get that good in here. I want to start doing some of the hits. We've been kind of like going to some obscure stuff, but I was like, there's a lot of stuff we haven't reviewed. We've never even reviewed Jurassic Park, the original one.
That's true. True.
So, we'll see you guys on Sunday.
Thanks guys for watching, listening. We got a decent audience tonight. Really appreciate that. I appreciate some of the people that have retweeted some of the streams to get us to a bigger audience. Obviously, I don't have a big following on Twitter. You're a little bit bigger, RDV and Eric and everybody else involved.
You making fun of me? I'm not. I'm a little bit overweight, but I'm not huge. Guys, if you've done so, click that like button, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you want to help the channel out, you can leave a comment down below after the stream ends. Obviously the guys who are in the chat here leaving or commenting, that always helps. It basically lets the algorithm know that, hey, people actually give a damn about this channel. We exist. Lately it's been we've been really kind of low on views lately, so if you guys can go back and watch some other stuff, bless you. And we'll see you guys on Sunday.
Good night all. Good night now.